Hi, this is Soonja Kim, QHHT Practitioner Level 3, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. Today, I'm going to share with you a very interesting session story about young men having heart attack at the age of high school age, about 19. Now, this is unusual because usually we humans have a heart attacks normally going 40s and 50s. But this young man had a heart attack at the last year of high school, 19, I think he told me. So then, since then, he has had 5 or 6 more heart attack. On top of that, a few years ago, he had a stroke. Now, that's not usual. So now he was talking about his life story. And while he was sitting talking about his life story, I see him was just, you know, uh, have a backache and spasms on the back and the necks were like this, right? So I asked him what is going on your back and neck. He said that he has spasm on her back and a neck as well. So okay, now we continued and I talked about his issues. So basically, his main concern is the heart attack and the stroke. And of course, because that, he is taking many medications for heart problem. So now, of course, when he had heart attack at the age of 19, he went to a hospital emergency. And of course, doctors went through very thorough examinations about everything about his body and heart. They found that there is no plaques, there is no cut in the organs. They didn't find anything, but just some inflammations. So they prescribed medications, but nevertheless, he had a heart attack. Interestingly, is that he has had a heart attack in April and July. Only April and July. How about that? That is so intriguing to me because I'm working on these things. There must be a specific reason. And let's find it out. So then we wrote down all his questions, talked about more about his other concerns. And so then time go down to the trance work. And he went into many, many past life where 12 centuries, where the Crusades were all over Europe. He was in that place. Obviously, he was not that wealthy because the way he described his uh, footings, whatever he is wearing on his feet and on his body, it wasn't that luxurious thing. It's very basic and doesn't have much money in his coat pockets, whatever he had. And the area was people were riding horses, things were carried by carriages and cobblestones. So now he is romantic man, and so he bought beautiful tulips for his lady and asking for her hands. So now they married. They have to run away because the whole society isn't a safe place. So he ran. They both hopped in the carriage and they ran away from places on the stop. They found somebody they know. They stayed the rest of a bit, walked a little bit, and kept moving on. Eventually, they went to Russia and settled there. One day, he was out on the square looking. So many crowds were there protesting, wondering what is going on. Now, these protests were yelling and screaming to government that they don't have enough food to eat to feed their families. So they were asking for more food. And soldiers were, those days they were, having helmets and all armors with the metal spares. So he was watching. And then, of course, the more people were charging toward the soldiers, and soldiers was blocking. And of course, because that, some people fell ground, and then somebody got hurt and everything. During this time, there was a lady with a baby, fell on the ground. She got hurt and cried out for help to him, say, please save my baby. So now his heart just went out and he wanted to help the woman as well as the baby. Excuse me. So now he is not as strong as other men, but he tried to hold the lady as well as the little baby and tried to move, but he couldn't handle. So he took the baby, run, and run, and he went into a small alley, hid it himself. While soldiers dispersed all over the place trying to find these protesters, and obviously they felt he was one of the protesters as well. So he called him stop, but he didn't. He kept running and hiding. Finally, what happened? The soldier threw the spears too, and it got struck to his back. He fell down, bleeding in pain. And so now what happened was this man, his spears is somehow is like a four kind of thing, but they had another spike up and then down. So it appears to be there are six somehow pokes out and grabbed his body on the back, like when you go to butcher shop, they got the hook up the meat and hung on the thing, just like that. So the spear hooked his body. So now he's got pulled by a horse and dragged on the street. You know, so how much of that thing. But we practitioners, we never allow people go through past life any pain. We do not. We ask them, just observe it. So therefore, they do not feel the pain. We don't allow them re-experience the pain. Never. We look after every client. So he told me later he never felt any pain. He observed it. So that's what happened. And of course, he looked the blue sky. That was last time he remembered, and he died. So I asked his higher self, why did you show that life? And then, of course, the higher self says, because that was origin of his heart problem. Okay, now we know the heart problem started 12th century. So now we asked higher self, so what do you do? What can you help this young man now in this current life? So then higher self, of course, absolutely, we want to release all that. So they went into the heart and then they removed all the scars. They put the added genes in the heart to make it healthy genes in the heart. So heart is all now removed all the traumas as well. So now the higher self told him and told us, and we are recording, that it's going to take about 2 weeks to have a complete heart recovery. And his heart is going to be as new as a little baby, strong and healthy. So then I asked why. I have a curiosity. He had a heart attack in April and July only. Could we know why? Herself said the time he was in that instant died was July, and April in the place where he lives now is in Canada. It feels exactly same feeling like a July in Russia back then. So his body remembers it. So his heart telling him that please I need help. Remind him that. But of course, conscious mind has no clue. Now we know that's what happened. April and July. Actual deaths happen in July, April. Why? Because the body remembers exact same weather situation. So release all that. No problem. The one thing question is that he had a stroke. And of course, he was in coma for 5 days and he lost speech for a little while. He had to go to speech therapy. So I asked why there was a stroke. Higher self said, we needed a reset for his body. We put him in coma for 5 days to renew his body system. Okay, so is there any side effect? No, all good. He's got the new system then. Now his heart is all fixed, so he's as healthy and he can run strong. Go on, live your life. So what's his life purpose then? Okay, live a life. Now he's a healthy body. Why is he here? Help other people. All right, help other people. How? He is very much helping person back then, because remember he was helping a lady and a baby. That's how he sacrificed his life. Now he's already a very helping person in this life also, and he is going to help others in every way he can. Just be himself. So now, as you understand, when we have a problem in this life, sometimes the cause is way back in the past life. I talked about similar situations before on some of my YouTube. One gentleman waited 3,500 years to get healed. Why is that? Because as this young man as well, the subsequent lives, he had a heart problem. Also his family, he chose the family has heart problem and to work this thing out. And he did it beautifully. And I am happy that he came early instead of suffering all that. I don't know whether I told you, I myself told him, now after 2 weeks, he can get rid of medication. He no longer requires to take medication. That is beautiful healing session story. I'm so happy this young man has a bright future. And I wish him all the best. And now from this session story, probably you will learn many things. Each person receives learning in different way. And I trust that this session story will help you open your mind. And there is reason why you have certain discomfort or problem. And there is always solution. We can help you through quantum healing hypnosis technique. I hope you have a good time and be taking care of yourself, have good health, and see you again. Bye for now.